I would have cost myself $2.9 million if I ain't pay that dude, man.
Yeah, that's crazy, man.
Yeah, the price it took for me to get in that guy's coaching program was a couple grand. But if I did not get in that guy's coaching program, it's going to cost me learning a life-changing opportunity. Most people have cost themselves their dream life 20, 30, 40 times in their lifespan. People's defense mechanism, ego, that's meant to keep them alive, they're using it to keep them from thriving. I've learned that your future is hidden in your daily routine.
Well, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to S.O.C. University Podcast. Haven't done a podcast in a long time, but I have a special guest. We got Alex Inman in the building. You've been seeing Alex every single where, man. His IG's blowing up. Everything's blowing up. So how you doing, bro?
Man, I'm fantastic, man. I didn't even know you started. I was like, you chilling. But yeah, I'm great, bro.
Nah, I started a minute ago, man.
Oh, okay.
We're going to get straight into it. I got a lot of questions for you. For y'all that don't know, I've known Alex, 12 years? You said? About 12 years?
12 years, yeah.
12 years, but it's funny, man. I still ask him questions to this day about every single thing. Every single thing. Almost like he's like a big brother to me, pretty much, you know? Calls me out when I'm not doing things right or what he thinks I should be doing in general. But for those that don't know, we just left Miami, right? And Miami is a whole different experience, man, from the food to the people that are there, the ethnicities. Shows me that I got to speak Spanish. But you went there to see Wes and do some podcasts.
Yeah,
right?
I went there to do a podcast.
Okay.
Yeah, so Shanti and Simba, shout out to those guys, man. They brought me down there to do a pod. And it was a great pod, too. It was great. It went well. It was smooth to the point. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, it was good, man. Went down and knocked it out. And then turned around and did another one the next day with the macro show with Forrest. So, Forrest, that was a really good one.
Correct.
Yeah, so just on a podcast run right now, man.
Okay. So, let's talk about the push-up contest. Mm-hmm. So I want you to talk a little bit about that I'm gonna ask you the question. So what was happening when we went there and everybody was doing push-ups?
Yeah, man, it was just a meetup that my coach was having just to bring a lot of people together in the city. People who may be being coached by him, people who may not be being coached by him. But man, literally just to bring people together in the city to just work out together, man. So it was just a great event. And I know that people came from out of town. I came from out of town. I came from Atlanta to hit that. So, I mean, he's a very powerful guy, man. Powerful coach, and he does a great job. So it was just a good event to have.
Yeah. So the aura there was, I was telling you about that when we were like in the hotel and everything. I was like, man, or the Airbnb. I was like, the aura is just crazy. Like I can feel it and understand why he commands so much respect and so much attention, right? Mm-hmm. So just as a man, you spoke about this before.
Right.
Why do you think it's so important for like men to be respected by other men? Because you mentioned that a lot. Like that's a big thing. Why do you feel like that's very important?
I mean, that's important because every man needs a wolf pack. The biggest thing I see is guys being lone wolves. Lone wolves don't get nowhere. They're not. It's impossible. It's impossible. It's impossible for a person to go to an extremely high level by themselves. And having a group of like-minded men around you and with you is the only way that you're going to elevate. Nobody elevates by themselves. Like nobody. No dude that you know right now who's at a high level has elevated there by themselves. They've always had a coach, a mentor, a group around them, friends, brothers, etc. Like, so being looked up to by other men is not necessarily just being looked up to by them. It's having a pack of brothers. It's like going into battle. Like, who goes into battle? The guy going into battle by themselves versus 300.
Yeah.
Right? The movie 300 is like, nah, man. You had, I think his name was, I forgot what his name was, but he was the lead guy, but he had his guys with him.
Correct.
And those guys looked up to him, but he was also a part of the guys, though.
Correct.
He ran into battle with them. So you got to have a band of brothers, man. It's so important to have a band of brothers.
Okay. I didn't even think about that. You're right. Like, no one gets into those things or gets very, very, very far by themselves, because at some point you do need people to watch your back in general and all that stuff too as well.
Right.
Okay. Because I even see with him, he has Lados with him.
Yep,
all the
Jados.
time.
Yeah,
Jados.
Yeah, Jados is the real deal.
Yeah, no. I like him.
Yeah.
He has Jados with him too all the time. So as we were there, it was nice to see somebody that mentors and inspires and teaches other people, also learning at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
So when everything was over, I was basically recording you, like having a conversation with somebody else.
Right.
Can you talk a little bit about that too as well? Because some people feel like
it was just a young guy, asking what I do and this and that. I said, listen, man, you need to connect. You need to get in a group of people. You need to get in either in this group, in some group. You need to be in some type of mentorship or group. I can tell he was a young guy. I think he was 21 years old.
Mm-hmm.
I said, bro, you need to get into some type of program, some type of mentorship, because right now, where you go in life is going to be based on your decisions, but it's also going to be based on your environment. So if you get led by the right people at an early age, it's going to be able to help you. So that's what helped molded me, was because at an early age, my early 20s, I met a gentleman by the name of Robert Dean. And I haven't talked about Robert in all the podcasts I've been to. I've been to a lot of them, but I've never dropped the name. A gentleman by the name of Robert Dean, man, I met him when I was 21, 22 years old. And he shaped my entire life of where I am today, was because I didn't believe it was possible to get rich, bro. Like, I didn't think it was possible. And so when I met Robert, I was like, hold on, I can make money for real? I can drive supercars for real? Oh, let's roll, man. And that was in 2008. It's funny, when I was coming here, one of my students, elite students, she just closed the deal today. She was super excited. And she was like, Alex, I mean, this is working. Everything's moving. And I've been listening to Myron Golden like all week. She's like, I just been brainwashing myself with Myron Golden. If anybody doesn't know who Myron Golden is, he's a YouTube figure, hundreds of thousands of subscribers, but he teaches on biblical principles that apply to business, right? And I was telling her, I was like, I still have the notebook from 2008 of about, I say, maybe 20 pages of notes from Myron Golden.
Dang.
From 2008.
Really?
I still have the notebook.
That's crazy, man.
I started my personal development journey in 2008. Summer 2008, I was going to seminars and I was listening to audio CDs. I had this job right in 2008 to where I was doing security. And the security was overnight. It was 7 to 7. So 7 at night to 7 in the morning. So I had to stay up for 12 hours. So if I'm in this warehouse and I got to stay up for 12 hours and I'm sitting in one spot, what am I going to do? Well, what I was doing was I was listening to audio CDs, bro. I had a CD player. And I was listening to Myron Golden and I was listening to these speakers and this and that. And I was just taking notes and I was developing myself around that time. So to piggyback off of what you said, I was shaped and molded, man. That young man, he doesn't understand that where he's going to end up 5, 10, 15, 20 years from now is his environment, is who he's going to be hanging around.
Yeah.
If he gets a job at X company, he's going to end up like people at X company. Simple as that. You become who you hang around. There's no way around it. I don't know what people think that, okay, well, I'm going to hang around these guys and they drink and they smoke, but I want to get better. Bro, you're not getting, it's impossible. The only thing you can do is you can't grow at the level, you can't surpass your friends and your friends are down here and you're trying to go up here. It can't happen. You have to be at people at this level. You have to be around people at this level. So for a person who wants to change their life, first thing you do is change people you hang around. Change your friends. Change your friends. If a person wants to get instant results today in their life, here's the first thing you can do. You can change your friends immediately. If your friends right now ain't trying to figure out, they haven't talked about how to make money in the next 24 hours or a game plan. Hey man, what's the game plan for us to close out 2024, making some real money? How can we crush it in 2025? They ain't talking about hitting the gym, getting shape, or getting money. Change them. But here's the thing. Most people want to fit in.
Yeah.
I've never cared about fitting in, bro. I've never cared about fitting in. I've been alone for most of my adult journey because if I'm gonna try to elevate and people ain't around me ain't trying to elevate, then I'll just be by myself until I get around some people that's trying to elevate. I'll just be by myself. But here's the crazy part. I ain't by myself because you know who I got? I got my coaches and mentors, and I got this audio book, and I got this book. I got Napoleon Hill. I got Myron Golden. I got David Schwartz. I got Robert Kiyosaki. I got these books. These books are my mentors. This is what most people don't get. So a person has to understand you are not going to surpass your level of personal development. Everybody wants to make more money, right? Right. Well, in order for you to make more money, you have to make more of you. The money comes when you're more. Alex, how do I become more? Well, it depends on your thoughts. Your thoughts determine your actions. Your actions determine your results. Okay, well, how do I get better results? Well, you have to do different actions. Well, how do I get better actions? It's based on your thoughts. Well, how do I get better thoughts? You have to change what you think about. Well, how do I change what I think about? Change what goes into your mind. How do I change what goes into your mind? What do you do at night before you go to bed? Oh, well, I maybe watch Netflix or scroll Instagram. Bingo. How about you take off Netflix and take off Instagram and read a self-help book? Start there. How about you, when you're driving on your way to work, instead of listening to Cardi B or Future, how about you turn on an audiobook? See, changing the results it materializes from this. So if you want to change this, change what goes into this. It's almost like a filter, right? If you take a filter and you pour water in it, whatever's going to come out at the bottom is going to be based on what's filtered, right? Well, it's the same thing in your mind. If you filter positivity in your mind, goals into your mind, a better lifestyle, just an overall better quality of life. If you filter that in your mind long enough, well, eventually what's going to happen is it's going to filter these results. For years, I would go to the supercar dealership and I filtered this through my mind year after year after year after year after year after year until I started driving supercars. For the longest, I filtered in my brain, man, I want to get in shape. I want a better body. I was just thinking about it. I wasn't working out. I wasn't even working out. I was just thinking about it. I was like, man, I want to get in shape. 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 Okay, and now I'm working out. Now I'm working out. Now I'm working out. I'm not really getting results, but I'm still thinking about, man, I want to get in shape. Man, I want to get in shape. I found a coach. Okay, great. I listen to what this coach telling me to do. I'm doing the workouts. I'm doing the meal plans. I'm doing the workouts. I'm doing the meal plans, but I'm not really getting in shape. But because I keep thinking about it, I see on Instagram another coach. I like what he's saying. Jump in his program. He gives me a workout plan. He gives me a meal plan. Now I'm ripped. You see where it started though? See, what happens is this brain is just going to take you through a series of mazes and a journey to find what you're looking for. Anybody can change their life at any time. It's not someday or one day. It's you can start right now filtering the results that you want to come out. Anybody can. See, I'm in flow state right now because I haven't been eating. You want to know what? You want to know one of the close. You want to know what's one of the closest ways to get closer to God?
Fasting.
Dieting hard, bro. Dieting hard is one of the fastest ways to get closer to God because when you are starving, when you're when you have removed all the excess calories that you eat on a daily basis and you're now at a deep calorie deficit, you're fighting, bro. You're fighting. And the person that you're talking to most is God is like, God, I'm hungry. Jesus Christ, I could just go across the street and get me 10 waffles, hash brown, right? Because food is so accessible, right? But when you says, you know what? I can't get that pack of Skittles. Even though that pack of Skittles costs $1.50, I can't afford it right now. I don't even think of how crazy that is. It's $1.50, but I can't afford it right now. It's because I'm fighting. I'm fighting. And what that does is that brings you closer to God's, because now you're sacrificing something so much that your senses are now more aware. That's why I didn't really eat coming here. This is why I'm like just spitting all this stuff right now, is because, bro, all I've had today was egg whites. And right now I'm extremely hungry. And an average person thinks that being extremely hungry is a bad thing. No. It's one of the best positions you can be in, is being hungry. A hungry dog does what?
Oh yeah, it hunts.
It hunts. It looks for food. Yeah. A full dog does what?
Oh yeah, he's sleeping.
He
lazy.
sits on his ass, bro.
Yeah. I get
like these are little things that people don't even understand or realize. It's just about being on planet Earth. It's just little things, bro. And this is how I've discovered to not only get in flow state, but how to increase everything in my life. The best way to increase your life is to take things away. Take away excess food. Take away excess spending. Take away excess laziness. So what do I mean? You take away food and you eat in a calorie deficit and you eat hungry. So now you're hungrier. You take away comfort. So now you're working out harder. You're taking away entertainment. So now you're feeding your brain. All these things you're taking away is actually elevating you. So people have to understand, in order to get to your highest level of yourself, you have to be able to experience a lot of things. The reason why I know all this stuff is because I started filtering these thoughts through my mind, but I started discovering along the way that, man, in order for these thoughts to turn into actions that's going to turn into results, I have to think a certain way. There's certain ways I have to move. So yeah, man, I can ramble.
No. That was good. I didn't even think about none of that. Let's go back though, because I remember you always used to say, when we were in the office, in our sales office, and I was in your office as one of your reps, you would always say, like, bro, like, do it by yourself, because you would say, I can do bad all by myself. You would always say that.
Right.
And you talked about how you've been by yourself for a lot of your life, but you feel like you have those mentors and coaches through the books and audiobooks. A lot of people cannot survive not even 24 hours without being around somebody or talking to people and stuff like that. Because as nature, in human nature, we were created to be around other people.
Right.
But you talked about that was a turning point for you. You were able to be by yourself until you got around the right people. So give advice for people that are looking to do something like that, but because they can't do it. Like, even after a relationship, somebody gets out of a relationship, they can't help but look for their ex's Instagram page, try to text them, looking to see if they're texting them, or if they don't have any friends, they're out trying to like find friends. But you talked about how much your improvement, I guess, accelerated because you weren't around people until you got around the right people. So let's go back to that. I think that's important.
Yeah, it's just based on the decisions, man. When I made the decisions that, like, I wanted to really go for something in my life, I got in those environments. So, for instance, one of the first things I did was, in my early years, I got into sales. So when I got in that sales position, I was in the office all day with other salespeople who wanted the same thing. So it wasn't that I was just automatically, neglecting everybody that I was around. It was just that I was around these people all day. And as I did that day after day, the days turns into weeks and the weeks turns into months. It's kind of like you kind of just veer off. It's like a boat that's not rowing, doesn't have an anchor, but is at sea. What's going to happen? It's just going to drift off eventually. So I just drift off from a lot of people. And I drifted off to people who had what I wanted. See, what most people don't understand is your mind is a navigation system. It's going to navigate to whatever it is that you want. Meaning that it's going to have circumstances, events, and people that is going to navigate you to for you to get what you want. Now, the thing is in order for you to get what you want, it takes action. It takes some type of action for you to cultivate what it is that you want. But your mind leads you to what it is that you want. This is why I'm not surprised at all of where I am right now. I'm not surprised at all of the amount of money I've been able to make in the profession that I'm in. I am not surprised at all, bro. This is all I talked about. It's all I was thinking about.
Yeah.
I was like, bro, I want to get rich. I just want to know what it feels like. I just want to know what it feels like. Well, it's not all about money and being rich and this and that. Yeah, that's true. But is it better to live life with little to no money or a lot of money? I'd rather live life with a lot of money.
Correct. Yeah. Yeah.
Sure. Am I going to have problems? Absolutely. Am I going to have setbacks? Am I going to have issues through life? Absolutely. I'd rather just do it with a lot more money. Can I drive a Nissan Altima? Yeah. I also can drive a Ferrari. I'd just rather have a Ferrari. There's nothing wrong with it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I used to wear an Invicta. The Invicta was cool, but I like this AP better. It's not one or the other. It's not that one thing is bad. It's just that I just rather have what's better. That's it. I just wanted a life to where I'd rather just have what's better. And that's what I just thought about. It's like, okay, well, it's just me. I ain't got no wife, no kids. So what should I spend all my time and energy doing? I should spend all my time and energy doing, man, trying to just increase my quality of life. If I know majority of my life is going to be, okay, I'm working. This is most people. You're working throughout the day, right? Get up in the morning, you work towards the afternoon. In the afternoon, what do? Hop in your car, you go to the house, you spend the rest of your day in your house. Well, that's majority of America, right? Mm-hmm. Well, guy A, he gets up in the morning, in his apartment or his house, he gets in his car, he goes to work, he works, he jumps in his car and he comes home, right? Mm-hmm. Well, I just wanted to do that at the highest level. I wanted to get up, but I'm in a penthouse versus a regular house. If I'm gonna drive to work, I'd rather be in a supercar than a regular car. It's super. It sounds good to me. If I'm gonna leave work and if I'm gonna be at work, I'm gonna be someplace to where I can make the most amount of money versus making just whatever type of money. And then I'm gonna come home, I'm gonna jump back in my supercar and come back to my penthouse. It's the same thing as guy A's doing. It's just it's elevated more. It's just better. So that's what I focused on all my early years, which is, okay, I just want a better quality of life. I just want everything to be better. And I discovered, man, a lot of this shit is connected to money.
What do you mean?
Look, I never just wanted to be rich just to be rich. I wanted a better quality of life. Everybody wants a better quality of life, but what they don't understand is there's a number attached to that, though. If you want to put your kids in private school, well, there's a number attached to that. If you want a better car, there's a number attached to that. If you want a better zip code and better house and neighborhood for your family, there's a number attached to that. Yeah. So I just understood in my early years, it's like, man, I got to work, man. Like, I have to bring value. I have to be able to bring value some way, somehow, to where I'm compensated for the value that I'm bringing so I can have a better quality of life.
How did you get over the fact of being by yourself, though?
Well, the thing is personal development helps a person be able to be with themselves. Is because if a person's not developed the way that they need to be developed, then all you're going to do is talk down on you. The most important person a person will ever talk to is them. The most important conversations that you will ever have in your life is with you. So if I know the most important person I'm talking to is me, shouldn't I be talking to myself like I have respect for myself?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
So because I've been talking to myself like I have respect for myself for so long, it's easy for me to be with me. So it's a self-talk thing.
Yeah, and that was learned over time. I understand what you're saying.
Mm-hmm.
At one point, I used to think, I told you this, I used to think you were crazy. I used to think this dude was crazy. I'm like, this dude is always talking to himself. He's always saying, I'm going to do this. Absolutely. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. And I always used to do this thing like this. Mm-hmm. Yep. Mm-hmm. Right. All the time. I'm like, this dude is crazy.
Yep.
Because I didn't understand that.
I was always affirming what I was going to do before it was done.
Right.
And I just affirmed it by just a simple head shake. Oh, yeah, I'm going to be successful in this. Mm-hmm.
But let me tell you this, and let me see what you think about this. The reason why I thought he was so crazy and why he was doing that, because in the community that I'm from, and black people, we're not usually around very positive people that speak and say that they want more and show actions to where they actually want more. Mm-hmm. We're usually comfortable with what we have.
Right.
So I wasn't used to somebody always talking about the future, what they're going to have, what they're going to get, and what they're going to become. That's why I was like, dude, what is he talking? This dude is crazy. This makes no sense. So why do you feel like we are like that as a culture? Like, we just don't.
Yeah, it just goes back to environment. If a person grows up in an environment to where it's negative, it's easy to be negative. You know?
Yeah.
It's all based on environment.
Yeah.
So for me, it wasn't that I was this super positive person growing up, but I just had this belief. It's like I almost had this delusion, you know? And the delusion was, well, nobody's really told me I can't do this or I can't be that. Well, let me go for it. You know? So this is why I like working with younger people. This is why I love kids. Kids have 100% self-belief in themselves.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Kids believe, bro.
For sure.
Kids believe. This is why you talking to a kid and you ask them about the future and what they want. It's so clear, bro.
Mm-hmm.
It's so clear. It's because they haven't been beat down with fear yet. They haven't been beat down with uncertainty. They haven't been beat down with lack and scarcity. Mm. This is why I like working with younger guys. Younger guys still have a few ounces of hope left, a few ounces of belief left. Yeah. The biggest thing I see working with people is the older the person is, the harder it is for them to believe, man. Yeah. The harder it is for them to believe that they can change or they can fix their situation or they can, make more money, or it's just years and years and years of doubt. And the thing about me is I just never allowed that to get it away from me. Mm. I just never allowed that childlike, I would say, delusion get away from me, because I don't know, man. I mean, sometimes some people they just have it in them. But the one thing about me is I've just always had that childlike delusion that, man, I can do this. Hold on, you can do it. I can do it too. That's how I got in the industry that I'm in. I seen the guys doing it. I was like, hold on, you making what? Shoot, if you can do it, I can do it too. Let's roll. Yeah. Right? So It wasn't let me think about it. Let me do some research. I was like, hold on, this fool can do it. I know I can do it. Yeah. Hold on, I can make what doing this? Okay, let's roll. That's how it was for me. It's like that childlike delusion, which is Oh, I want a pony. Right? They see it as like, oh, I want a pony. And even though they have no money, no nothing, they want it. Like they just have no disbelief in it. That's how a person has to be as a full-grown adult to change their life.
Mm-hmm.
Like you got to dispel all disbelief that something can't happen for you.
So even while you were there, you had another conversation with somebody after you talked to that young guy.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So what's the importance to you of still continuing to learn and still being coached, right? Because when I saw that, I was like, damn, I didn't even think.
Yeah, see, the key for a person, in order for them to change their life, bro, they have to be curious.
Yeah.
If a person's not curious to learn a way or form to get a better outcome, they're never going to get it. They have to be curious. So a person has to look at, if you look at other people, right, and a person who's successful, there's one or two ways you can look at that person. You can look at that person with envy, which is, okay, well, you know, I don't want that. Who do they think they are, etc. Or you can look at that person with curiosity, which is, I'm interested on how this person is getting these results. I'm interested on how they're doing this. So, tomato. One gives you a negative result, which is you're going to look at them with envy and nothing's going to happen. You're going to have hate in your heart. Or you can look at one with a positive result, meaning that you can figure out what they're doing. You can maybe even get into what they're doing, and you can work on it, build yourself, and 5-10 years down the road, now you got the same results as them. Yeah, there's a time gap in between that, but the result is going to become exactly what you wanted to become. So for people who aren't curious are the people who stay where they are.
There are a lot of people that think like that. Or right. The crabs in a bucket.
And it's funny, I was on the way here, I was listening to a podcast, and the guy who I was listening to was a guy that I do business with. He's the one I bought my car from. I bought this watch from him.
Okay.
So he's a pretty successful guy, and he had a podcast, and the host asked him, you know, you don't think that, you know, teaching all these people how to do what you do is going to be, is it any competition? He was like, absolutely not. Because he says, I have to elevate in what I teach. I can't teach this and I'm not actually elevating in it. And I was like, that's powerful. That's powerful. It's because there's no such thing as competition.
Why you say that?
Bro, there's so much abundance on this planet to the point to where is a person. Okay, let's talk about it. So there's no such thing as competition, right? So you got a Mac, right? Mm-hmm. I got a PC. Mm-hmm. Is Microsoft and Apple successful?
They both are.
Thank you. There's no such thing as competition, bro. There's an abundant. There's so many people on planet Earth to where it's enough for everybody to go around. Right. It's enough for everybody to go around. So if you take two of the biggest companies on planet Earth, printing billions of dollars a year, why would Tyrone from bum F Illinois think that there's not enough to go around for him? Like, I want you to think about that.
Yeah.
There is no such thing as competition. There's enough for everybody out here. This is one thing I discovered. Working in the trenches. Man, I never forget, man, I was launching my real estate business and I had started to do a few deals. This was the point to where I got past the breakthrough. I broke through starting to make some money in my business. Now I'm making some money in my business. I got some money in my bank account. I'm excited. Things are happening. So I'm now in flow state, which is now I'm doing deals and I'm just keeping the momentum going. And I'll never forget this dude, man. This dude said, hey, Alex, man, I see you doing a lot of deals, because I was posting them on Facebook. I was posting all my deals on Facebook. And he was like, man, I'd like to have a conversation with you to kind of network. Okay, cool, no problem. Boom, exchange numbers, and we started talking. And I never forget this dude talking about, yeah, man, I mean, it's just so much competition here in the city and this, that. I was like, competition? There's competition? I didn't know what he was talking about. Mm-hmm. In his brain, he couldn't do deals or make things happen because he believed that everybody else was getting all the deals, not him. And then you have a conversation with me. I'm like, bro, I'm doing deals left and right. There's not enough deals for me to do. You need to get busy, bro. I can't even sign up all these people. It was two totally different perspectives in the same city. So the point of the matter is it's all on perspective. There's no such thing in competition in nothing. In nothing. No such thing.
That remind me of something my brother was saying. When you like go down the street, you see racetrack on one side and BP on the other side.
And they both full.
They both full. They ain't worried about the other one. If you like what they got,
I want
go
you
over
to
there.
think about it. These companies specifically build gas stations across the street from the other one.
Yep.
Why would you do that if it's going to be competition? It's because there's enough people driving down the street to where this business can thrive too. That's how crazy it is. This is why you see a McDonald's across the street and you see a Burger King, and then literally 4 blocks you'll see a Chick-fil-A. Bro, they're all literally in
Next
one
to each
area.
other. Yeah.
What's a shopping center? All the stores competing each other in one area. I want you to think about how crazy that is. Is that if you just go out, drive down the street, you'll see all the businesses in one area. Why is it McDonald's like in the middle somewhere in town? It's like where all the other business is, and they're still open. That means that they're making money. Mm-hmm. It's all perspective. A mindset like this is built through repetitive, positive information being filtered through it. Remember, our brains hold information, but it doesn't hold it for long. It's like a filter. If I pour water in the filter, it's going to slowly drip through, which means that you got to continue to filter into information in. You got to continue to filter information in to the point to where this filter has so much residue from what you've been pouring into it. It clogs up, and now it's holding the water. Now it's holding what you've been pouring in it. That's how a person can change their life instantly and over time, which is filtering positive thoughts through their mind. All this is going to go back to one single thing, which is how people think, bro. People thoughts is off, man. People thoughts is off. One interesting thing right now that's interesting to me is I'm building my social media page, right? And I see how much these guys project their insecurities on me. It's insane.
Let's talk about it. What do you mean?
Bro, a person criticizes what they give up on. So, for instance, I got a video talking about making my first $1 million.
Wow.
It was people coming in the comments, well, you ain't really got $1 million, or this and that, or blah, 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 blah. I said, bro, you only think that way is because you ain't going for it right now. You gave up on it. You don't think it's possible for you. So because you gave up on it, you don't think it's possible for you, and you don't want to get up tomorrow to try, you're going to criticize me doing it. That's your defense.
I see what you're saying. Yeah.
That's your defense. People criticize what they gave up on.
Absolutely.
So when I talk about being in shape and being at your best optimal performance, and bro, you need to get ripped and 6 packs and this and that, for the dudes who ain't trying to do that, they criticize it. Because who wouldn't want more money in their account? Like,
correct.
The things that I talk about is common sense.
Yeah.
So you want less money? Well, no. We all want more money, right? Well, yeah. So why ain't you going for it? Well, and this is where the excuses come in, and this is where they point fingers. That's with everything. That's what comes to money, being in shape, women, whatever it is, a person's going to criticize what they gave up on, or what they think that's not possible for them, or what they think that they can't go do. This is why a person has to elevate themselves at all levels, because you're going to discover so much about life, like pushing for your goals and dreams. Like, you have to. It is like the most eye-opening thing going for your goals and dreams, is because you're gonna start uncovering so many things about life that you wouldn't if you continue to stay at the bottom where you're at. There's so much levels of awareness people don't have, is because they're not out there trying to become something more.
I can agree with that.
So when it comes to this life, man, there's so many things that we haven't touched or we haven't been able to witness is because of where we currently are right now. Our eyes and our level of thinking only can see so far. But in order to get further down the road, you have to push yourself. You have to continue to grow. You have to be actually working on something and elevating yourself to be able to see further down the road. This is why there's a good quote. If you're not growing, you're dying. Most people are dying, bro. Because they're not growing.
Yeah. Why do you think it's so hard for people to spend money on developing themselves, but they rather spend it on clothes or cars or stuff like that? Why do you think it's so hard to do that? Because you talk about hoarding money too.
Yeah, because most people don't understand price versus cost. And what do I mean by price versus cost? Most people don't understand that you've cost yourself the life that you wanted because you weren't about the price of things. A person will look at how much something is, the actual price, but they don't have the level of awareness to understand what it's going to cost them. So a person can, simple example, a person can get their tax check like me. A person can get their tax check summer 2020. And they could have took the tax check and paid off everybody. I owed a guy named Dale Limpertique. This is a true story. Summer 2020, there was this thing called COVID happening. And by the grace of God, I got my tax check in the mail summer 2020. Which means that I could have took that money and paid up all my rents, because what the business that guy was doing was he was doing Airbnb. So he had about 4 or 5 properties that he had rents due on. But because of the pandemic, his business was Airbnb, and Airbnb was shut down during the pandemic because people couldn't travel, right?
Yeah.
So this guy, boom, he comes into some money, summer 2020. And he could take that tax check and he can pay these guys. So the price to pay those guys was a couple grand. It would have took up majority of my tax check.
Right.
But what would have that cost me if I would have paid those guys? So what that guy did was, instead of paying those landlords, he took his tax check and he paid a guy to teach him real estate. Now, this guy was still behind on his rent.
Right.
Behind on his bills. He was behind on everything.
But see,
at that time, I understood price versus cost. Yeah, the price it took for me to get in that guy's coaching program was a couple grand. But if I did not get in that guy's coaching program, it's going to cost me learning a life-changing opportunity. That's what I mean when I say the silliest thing a person can do is take all their money. Tony makes $8,000 for the month. And he takes this entire check and he deposits it in Bank of America. And for that month, $6,000 goes out. It's because he pays his car note, his rent, his insurance, his basic bills, utilities, etc. He goes out to eat. He goes to the lounge on Sunday, etc., etc. And then he takes that $2,000 and puts into savings. That's the silliest thing a person can do. It's because they're looking at, well, all I got was $8,000 and I got $2,000 left. Well, I don't want to spend my $2,000. Well, because you don't want to spend $2,000, it's going to cost you $200,000 in the future that you could have made with that business. They don't get it. That's the difference between price versus cost. I started learning that years ago, and especially as I started getting older and more elevated in my business, I understood that the price don't matter. What is it going to cost me if I don't do this? Bro, I would have cost myself $2.9 million if I ain't pay that dude, man.
Yeah, that's crazy, man. That's crazy.
I would have cost myself.
That's
I would have
crazy.
cost myself all the suits that I have right now if I didn't pay that guy. I would have cost myself all my cars that are paid off in cash if I didn't pay that guy. It would have cost myself all the people that I've helped that are now doing real estate if I didn't pay that guy. It would have cost myself all of the followers that I have right now from the lessons that I learned building my real estate business. It would have cost all the friendships that I have right now, all the coaches and mentors that I have right now, all the wisdom that I have right now, if I didn't take that little measly $5,000 that guy was charging for his course. $5,000 turned into hundreds of thousands. No, I'll take that back. Millions of dollars, the best relationships, me having a great life, me having a great physique. It would have cost, the ripple effect was so big from that little amount of money. This is what most people don't get. Most people have cost themselves their dream life 20, 30, 40 times in a lifespan.
That's crazy to think about that. Damn.
It's because opportunities come at us all the time. There's always going to be opportunity. If you think that God is going to just allow you to only get one opportunity in life and that's it, and he's like, no, Mike. I know back in 2005, there was an opportunity that could have changed your life. Yeah, you could have invested in Facebook in 2005. Somebody brought Facebook to you. But I'm not going to give you any more opportunities. If people think that that's how this planet works, you're nuts. There's an abundance of opportunities that are coming across our desk all the time. God is not going to allow a person to never be able to in a position to elevate their life. A person can be a drug addict Tuesday and wake up Wednesday and decide to stop and change his life. That's the great thing about this planet. One decision, you can change your entire direction of your life. It doesn't matter what you've been doing. It doesn't matter how long you've been doing it. It doesn't matter how deep in the hole you are. If you've been digging the hole and you be like, all right, you know what? I'm tired of digging. I now want to climb up this hole. You can now right now start climbing.
It's true. Damn. That's really true. But I think going back to what you said, I know that you have to be in that mindset and what you call that flow state to even see those opportunities, though.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's like I said, it starts with the filter. It starts with the thoughts. If a person starts thinking like, man, I just want to get better and this and that, now what's going to happen is these things are going to start happening. God's like, okay, you want to start bettering your life? Okay, cool. Start throwing some opportunities your way. Let me start bringing things across your desk. Let me start bringing people and circumstances and events so you can do that.
Damn. So let's talk about cutting people off.
Right.
Do you have any instances or situations where you were like, man, this is not good for me. This relationship, whether it's this, let's talk about a woman, like it's a woman.
Mm-hmm.
How did you navigate that and was able to be like, man, I gotta cut this girl off. I gotta cut this woman off. As much as I want to continue doing this, I can't do it. Right. And it can be a friend, a past relationship, anything. Mm-hmm. Like, how did you navigate that, and how were you able to get out of that situation? What's your advice on that?
Yeah, I mean, that just comes with over time, which is really understanding the importance of having your peace. I mean, back in the day, it was harder for me to cut off women. Now it's easy for me to cut off a woman. It's because I understand that if I'm not trying to be with this woman in the first place, then why waste her time?
You didn't say waste your time. You said her time.
Her time and my time. See, as you get older and more advanced and more aware, you understand that you should waste less time on things. And that includes people.
Mm-hmm.
That includes people.
You don't think it's harder than that?
Nope.
Nope.
It's easy to cut people off, bro. It's easy. It's not necessarily easy like it's just cold-blooded, but it's a lot easier for me to cut off people now.
Because I've been around people that they've been trying to cut somebody off months, years, and it got to the point where it was dragging me down. And I'm like, bro, I can't even talk to you no more, deal with this no more, because you dragging me down.
Yeah,
Still talking
it's
about that.
because it's a self-worth thing. If a person believes that they can't do better, then they won't.
Sure.
It's a scarcity mindset, you know? I don't have a scarcity mindset.
You had to develop that, though.
Yeah, it has to be developed.
Yeah.
Everything has to be developed.
So let's talk more about money. I saw this thing that says statistically that a person that gives away money or donates money or things like that, that it automatically comes back to them. It's proven that they will make more money than the person that's not giving money away. And I don't necessarily mean like giving to the homeless or just giving money out, right? But back to that, like, it's hard for people that, you know, because wages are the same. Everything's going up. Groceries is going up. Rent and everything's going up. It's hard, bro, for the average person to spend money or invest in themselves or just to spend in general. But
Right.
as you say, you got to have that abundance mindset, you know, instead of living in a scarcity mindset, right? You don't think that's hard? You don't think that's hard?
I mean, yeah, it's hard, but a person has to understand that you live in a world that's an eye for an eye.
What do you mean?
Like, if I want a crop of fruit, I have to plant the seeds and water it, and I have to cultivate, and I have to tilt the land. Some work has to be done before I get that fruit. That's how everything works. It's no such thing as something for nothing. Like, somebody has to give something to get something. So the concept of people who give somehow seem to get more back is no different from the damn trees outside. It's no different from the example I just said. If I plant a garden of corn and I plant the seeds and I tilt the ground and I water it and I make sure it gets great sunlight and I even put fertilizer down, I'm going to grow a great crop. Versus the guy who has seeds and is sitting in his garage and he don't want to plant nothing, he don't want to do the work, he'll get to it later. Who's going to have more?
Yeah, absolutely.
It's what it is. It's the planet you live on. People also don't want to work with the laws on the universe. You reap what you sow. For people who don't want to sow anything, ain't reaping nothing.
Yeah. So what did it feel like when you got the Maserati, when you got both cars? What did it feel like the first time they handed you the keys? Hold on. They handed you the keys and you drove off. The very first time. Take me to that.
I remember it, bro. I was in Nashville, Tennessee. I got the car delivered to Nashville.
Was that video that you?
Nah, I didn't make a video of it.
Okay.
I got it delivered. I was living in Atlanta at the time,
okay,
but I thought I had to get it delivered to Nashville to register it. I didn't even know that I could have just got it delivered here to Atlanta and registered the goddamn car. I didn't even know. So it got delivered to Nashville. I drove to Nashville. I took a flight to Nashville, and I'll never forget, man, I was communicating with the driver who had it on the back of his truck.
Okay.
And he was like, yeah, I'm here. I'm parked here, and I think I was already in town.
That was the video, not to cut you off, where they were taking it out the back of the car, and you were like, don't scratch it.
That's the Aston Martin.
Okay, my bad. Go ahead. Go ahead.
So, but bro, I'll never forget, man. I knew exactly where he had it parked because I used to live in that neighborhood across the street to where he had it parked. So I lived in this building called the Icon, and if you go up the street to the light, right in front of this big parking lot, it's usually empty. And I never forget driving up to the parking lot and pulling up in it, and he had the car already off the bed, off the trailer bed, parked. And I was like, oh, man. I was like, damn, that's mine. I was like, damn. Now here's the thing. It's not even this crazy expensive car. You know what I'm saying? It's under 100,000. It was just the fact of the matter is I pulled it off. I was like, man, I want this car one day. When you broke and you ain't got no money and you're making just enough money to get by, the thought of the thought of spending 70, 80 grand cash for a car is like, holy
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm like, bro, I'm used to being here. Now I'm here, and I'm actually reaping benefits of being here. So, bro, I never forget, man, it was parked, and I haven't seen too many of those models of the one that I got.
Right.
So, bro, I was like, damn, that shit look good. I was like, wow. I was like, damn. And I was with my assistant at the time. And she helped manage my Airbnbs that I had.
Okay.
Because I still had my Airbnbs after COVID happened. When I started making money in real estate, I kept my Airbnbs. So I hired her to manage and look over all of them. And I was with her. And I never forget, she was just smiling. She was like, damn, that's sexy. I remember her saying like, ooh, that's sexy. I was like, damn, man. And man, I never forget, I paid the dude and I drove off. And bro, it was just a weird feeling, bro. I was like, man, I can't believe I did this shit, bro.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, and I was looking around at the window to see who was looking at me. Because I just didn't know, bro. Like, it was the first time me doing something like that.
Yeah.
For one, spending that much money on a car. But two, it's like, bro, I'm used to driving regular cars, bro, all my life. Like most people used to just driving regular cars.
Mm-hmm.
And here it is, I'm whipping this foreign car. And I was like, I say about 2 hours, I was comfortable. I was like, yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep. I'm supposed to be here.
Supposed to have this.
I'm supposed to have this, bro.
Yeah.
It was nervous at first because I was driving it like, I hope nobody hit me. Hope I don't crash. All these negative thoughts of scarcity. Like, I'm gonna spend all this money on this car and hopefully nobody hit me. Bro, after a few hours, that disappeared and I was like, this is exactly where you're supposed to be. This is exactly what you asked for. This is exactly what I'm supposed to be doing.
So how many months or years before you actually got that car that you were thinking about getting that car till you got it?
I set that goal to get that car, man, back in 2019. 2019, I set the goal. So 19, 20, 21, 22. It took me 4 years. It took me 4 years. And I don't know why I wanted that car specifically, but it was just sexy. All red interior, white drop top. It was just sexy. Loved it. I'm picking it up Monday, actually. It's in the shop right now. They lowered it. They put a tune on it. Sounds phenomenal.
Bro, what you can't.
Phenomenal.
They lowered it?
They lowered it, so it looks even more sexier. They tuned it.
Wow.
So I'm gonna go pick it up, and then I'm gonna go take it. I'm gonna drive it for a couple of days, and then I'm gonna take it to the shop, and they're going to put wheel spacers on it. So the wheels are now gonna be wider, and then they're gonna do ceramic coating, and then they're gonna do ceramic coating, and then they're gonna do powder. They're gonna powder coat the brakes, so it's gonna be a deep red.
Wow.
So, bro, it's
That
such a
sounds
sexy
beautiful.
car, bro. It's such a sexy car, bro.
That sounds beautiful.
And here's the crazy part. Every level, there's a new devil. Every time you do something, it gets easier. 30 days later, I bought the Aston Martin. That was triple the price. So I went from this car being this price to 30 days later buying another car, but it was 3 times the price. Why? It's because I was more comfortable now.
With the spending?
No, just pulling the trigger on something like that.
Okay, I got you.
It's no different from the first time a person decides to invest in themselves. At first, it's scary.
Sure.
They don't know if it's going to work. But once they see tangible results, it's easy for them to do it again.
Yeah.
And then again, and then again, and again. Anything a person does for the first time is going to be, you're going to be hit with resistance and doubt and fear. But it's all a scenario you've created in your mind. It's all a scenario you've created. Until you do that thing and you figure out what I was thinking about or what I was coming up with was a complete illusion. It's like, oh, now I can go harder. This is why when people jump out on faith and do something and it starts working, they take off. It's all an illusion. In the beginning, it's all illusions that we come up with on what we can't do something.
So then take me to the penthouse. What was the first night of actually being in it? Because it's beautiful. Bro. Like, if y'all haven't seen the man's crib, it is beautiful. Glass everywhere, the right level, nice balcony.
That's my second one. The first one I had, bro, was so laid, bro. It was so laid.
You like that one better than this one?
I actually like the one I got now better. The other one was bigger. Gotcha. It was way bigger. It had a way better scenery of the city. But I think all the aesthetics of the furniture and everything fits better in my spot now for some reason. It's just perfect. It's just a perfect layout. But man, it all comes back to what I was talking about, which is pulling the trigger anyway on something. Like moving in a penthouse and seeing my rent double, triple was like it was brought with resistance.
Yeah.
I was like, damn, man, I'm increasing my bills, this and that, But that was me thinking in scarcity. It's like, well, let's think about the other side. Well, do you think you're gonna make less money? Well, no. Are you gonna work less harder? Well, no. Are you gonna allow yourself to fail, Alex? No. Are you gonna allow yourself not to do no deals for the next year? Like no nothing. Bro, I wouldn't even allow myself to do nothing like that. So what's the problem? Damn, there is no problem.
That makes a lot of sense.
I'm moving in fear. I just created a whole scenario when I know without a shot of a doubt, I'm going to get up every day and do everything I can in my business to win, right? Right. Are you good at what you do, Alex? Of course. I'm crushing it right now. Right. So what's the problem? Damn, it ain't no problem. Thank you. Pulled the trigger, got the penthouse. It was double, triple the rent. Income didn't go down the whole year I was in there. Didn't go down. It was an illusion.
That makes a lot of sense.
So, to sum up a lot of the things that I'm saying right now is simply fear. People have created an illusion of what they think is going to happen with something. Like they're allowing the fear mechanism in their brain, their ego, that's only meant to keep you alive, to keep you from thrive. People's defense mechanism, ego, that's meant to keep them alive, they're using it to keep them from thriving. You should be afraid of a guy who has a gun who's pointing at you. Yes, I get that part. You shouldn't be afraid of taking your money and investing in your business. What's wrong with people?
Now that you make it sound like that, but yeah.
It's like, hold on. I get it if somebody's threatening your life. But you worried about you losing a few dollars to increase the livelihood of your life, change your family's tree and the whole nine? No, that's not the same fear of somebody trying to kill you. It's totally two different things. And people, you're using the same type of fear. Bro, it's crazy, bro.
Damn. No, you're right. You're right. Like, even basic for me, but I want to go back to you, but even basic for me, after we moved here, this was the biggest house I've ever had. And before we even moved in, I was like, be honest, I was like, nah. It's double the amount that I was paying in Mobile. Nah. But I was just, something told me just do it and things is going to work out. And everything started to go up after that. So he's totally right. It's crazy, man, how that even works, bro. How do you feel like this next year is going to go for you? I already know what you're going to say. You're going to say either you're going to say, I'm not working for it. I have no clue. I knew he was going to say
I don't know, bro. I don't know. The thing about plans is, I mean, plans are cool, but I'm going to continue what I'm doing. I'm going to continue working my business. I'm going to continue to get up every day to do what I need to do. But to be like, oh, what's going to happen at the end of this year, bro? I have no clue, bro. I don't know. I don't think people should worry about having plans too far in the future. Yes, you should plan for it. But Make this plan of what you want to do and execute daily. If you're working daily on something that's here, then yes, your chances of getting that outcome is greater. Absolutely. So I've set goals for myself every year for a very long time, and I've missed a lot of those goals. So I think the best thing for me to do is set some goals that I truly believe that I can go out there and do daily based on my habits now. I've learned that your future is hidden in your daily routine.
So wait, based on your habits now.
Yeah. A person's habits right now is going to determine their future. If a person doesn't have the daily habits, then there is no future. It's because the only future they're going to have is what they're doing today. They're going to repeat the future. A person's habits determines their future.
So you're saying people should plan their goals and their dreams and everything based on how they are like right now.
Yeah, a person needs to look at their habits, and that's going to determine where they are. It's habits,
makes a lot
bro.
of sense. I didn't look at it like that.
Yeah, most people don't look at their habits. A person would be like, "Oh, I want to be this here one day." Okay, well, great. Well, what are your habits today? If your habits today aren't aligned with anything of that goal that you're setting, all you're going to get down the road is what you got right now. Because what you got right now is based on what?
The habits.
The habits you got right now.
Right. I was reading, what is it called? Let me look it up. Because I've been doing a lot of reading. Well, a lot of audiobooks. Atomic Habits. That's what it is before I looked it up. And Atomic Habits, they were talking about it's either the micro habit or the gateway habit.
Right.
Which is right before the actual real habit to form and everything starts. They were talking about for somebody that like wants to work out or get in shape, or somebody wants to make more money or whatever, they should focus on creating habits that will get them to that goal by having or planning shorter habits. Like if you want to work out, you should put the weights in an area or a room where you'll always see it, right? Or if you want to work out your arms, you should put the dumbbells in front of the TV or in front of the couch. But they were saying that you should do it for like 2 minutes. Because if you keep doing it for 2 minutes every day, then pretty soon you'll be like, oh, this 2 minutes ain't nothing. And you're creating a habit and you're going to naturally want to do more. Right? And they were saying that people should basically start smaller and then go to the bigger.
Right, you have to start smaller.
Why is that?
It's because it's, you can't bite too much off that you can chew. You have to start somewhere. It's usually start off smaller. Like if you want to run a marathon, you just better start off just walking around the track. And then start jogging. And then start doing quarter mile. And then half a mile. And then work it up to 1 mile. It's because you gotta work the way up. It's just like weight training. You can lift a certain amount of weight when you start, but then as you just keep lifting each day, you can lift a little more. Add 5 pounds. And then add another 5 pounds. And then add another 5 pounds because your body's getting used to it. So that's why you have to start off small.
No, that makes a lot of sense because I see why so many people have their New Year's resolution and they start working out and they're in the gym and they just quit. No, dummy.
Because you start off small.
Right, you're trying to do a full
yeah, you can't do that.
Olympic workout. So I always like to go back to, the clips and the advice and things that you have like on the dating, right? But I want to take it a little bit deeper too as well. So for somebody like you, bro, like how would you, in your status, where you are, how do you know if a woman is really for you, bro? Like how do you think about that? Or like what do you look for? Like how do you determine that? Because that's hard.
Right.
To be in a situation that you are, young, successful, nice car, money, how do you know if that woman is really for you, bro? Like how do you know that?
I would know based on how much she's willing to endure. And what do I mean? You have to test women. You have to test them. What's a good way for a guy like me to test a woman? Let's say I meet a woman and she lives out of town. I say, yeah, I would love to meet. I fly to Atlanta.
Tell her to fly to you.
Mm-hmm. If a woman is willing to spend her own money to come see me, that means she likes me. Because most women say, fly me out. And they don't even understand that they're eliminating themselves by asking me that.
They're eliminating themselves.
Like, you don't have enough brain power to think that I get asked that all the time. If you're willing to take your money to come see me, if you're willing to risk your money to come see me, that means that you're not being conditional right now. They're throwing the conditions out the window. I really like this guy and I want to come see him. But most women are like, oh, well, he has the money. Come fly me out. It's easier that way. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it is easier that way. Mm-hmm. But you don't want to give nothing up, which means that you're probably not going to give up unconditional love. You're probably not going to give up, peace. You're probably not going to give up none of that stuff. Mm-hmm. So I just literally see what a woman is willing to give up. Is she willing to give up going out consistently?
That's hard for a lot of people.
Is she willing to give up, dressing provocatively? It's like, what is this woman willing to give up to be with me? Most people would be like, well, why would she give up this, that, that? It's because the man has to choose you. A woman doesn't understand is women have no leverage in the dating game.
Why do you say that?
It's because they can't marry themselves. So in the dating game right now, women think that, okay, I have leverage, I'm pretty, guys can take me out on the dates, this, that. But what you don't understand is that the guy has to be the initiator to take you off the market. You can't do it yourself.
It's true.
So the only leverage a woman really has in the dating market is to get off the market when she's at her highest value. But they don't do that. When a woman is at her highest value, the prime of her prettiness, the prime of her looks, most women don't use that to find the best guy they can find and get out the game.
Oh, you're right. You're right.
Most women right now in the dating game, they're the NBA player who plays past their prime. They were phenomenal when they were a rookie in their first few years. They were phenomenal, but they kept playing, and their stats are now going down. And now they're going from team to team to team to team. They're not making as much money as possible, and they're trying to hold on in the NBA for dear life until they have to give up. When they were at their prime, they should have played at their prime and then got out the game.
Wow.
Michael Jordan did it. Michael Jordan could have kept playing way past when he was playing. He won his last championship with the Bulls, right? And retired, right? And he says, all right, I'm going to come back. I'm going to do this Wizards thing. He did the Wizards thing for 1 or 2 years and he bounced.
Yep.
And this dudes in the NBA, they just keep playing, just keep playing, just keep playing, just keep playing. No, get out the game, G. I get it. You probably need more money. You're probably playing. Most of these guys are probably playing because they need the money. No, when you had the stupid contract, you should have did what you needed to do with the contract that you had, so you don't need the money, so you can get out the game. So, yes, women have zero leverage in the dating game. It's because they can't marry themselves. Now, for the women to be like, oh, well, I don't want to get married. Okay, no problem.
What?
Go from dude to dude to dude to dude to dude to dude. But most women don't want to do that. Most women don't want to go from guy to guy to guy to guy.
Right.
It's not in their biological makeup to do that.
To do that, yeah.
They would want to be with one guy they can respect, love, and trust. But most women, they don't know when they're at their height of their talent in their game. You get out the game. You try to milk the best contract you can get. What's the player for the Ravens? The quarterback. Lamar Jackson milked this contract, bro. He milked it. He milked this contract that he got. He ain't gonna get a contract like this 7 years from now, 5 years from now. It ain't happening. It ain't happening.
He held out for a long time.
It ain't, bro. This is the biggest contract he will ever get. Anything after this will go what? Down, 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 down.
5 years, 260.
5 years, 260. Crazy, bro. That's $50 million a year plus a year.
Mm-hmm.
He ain't getting that 5, 6, 7 years from now.
Wait, no. Yeah, 250. 5 years, 260. Yeah. Okay, so back to that. That's how you figure out. Well, that's how you figure out that they're for you, right? That's what you said. Okay. That's a tough one, man. I can see that's hard. There's nothing else that you think you do.
What?
I wouldn't say necessarily to vet them just to make sure you know that they're for you. Because again, I think that would be very hard for you.
Yeah,
I'm
bro.
only assuming.
Yeah. I just see what the woman's willing to give up, bro. Remember, everything's an eye for an eye. Right. If a woman wants a successful dude, a dude who's on his ish, who's doing what he needs to do, well, what are you willing to give up to get that guy?
Correct.
It's like, hold on, I just have to be. I'm just me. No, it doesn't work that way.
So why do you feel like women feel like they don't have to improve themselves?
It's because they don't. They've never had to.
Women don't have to improve.
They've never had to go out there and learn how to get a guy. Why would you learn how to do something that comes to you easily and effortlessly every day? If you were 15 years old, and since 15 years old, you've had $10,000 be deposited in your bank account every week.
Oh, you wouldn't worry about working, doing anything.
Since you was 15. And they say you can finally get the money when you was 18. So this is $40,000 a month. Mm-hmm. So you turn 18, you got $4 million bucks. Like, are you going to get a regular job?
No, absolutely not.
Now, the $10,000 continues to hit every week. Like, are you going out to work at Chick-fil-A?
No, absolutely not.
Are you stressing about money?
I see what you're saying.
Like, are you going out here, like, really trying to improve yourself financially? Are you really going to try to build yourself?
I see what you're saying.
No, bro, you don't have to.
Yeah.
It's been coming to you consistently, easily and effortlessly.
Yeah. So how do you feel about when, because I've heard a lot of people say, like, what's your type? And they say, not you, just in general. Mm-hmm. And they'll say, well, the man will say, I like who likes me.
Right.
How do you feel about that?
Dealing with a woman who likes you is a way better experience, is because you don't, Bro, it's a way better experience. Just because when you're dealing with a woman that's not that attracted to you, there's a lot of resistance, and you're not getting the full aspect of that woman.
Correct.
She's not really that into you. You're only getting a piece of her versus the dude that she's attracted to. So yes, dealing with a woman who's into you is way better. Yeah, I get it. You may want her. She's way better. Looks way better. But she may not be that into you like that, G. Because you may not be the guy right now that she wants. And that's okay. Right now, you deal with the woman who wants to deal with you.
But everybody changes. Everybody gets old. So eventually all that other stuff is going to fade away, bro. All that stuff is going to fade away. So you also talked about, like, I've been wanting to ask you this stuff for a while. You also talked about, like, splitting the bills, or the man paying for everything or the woman paying for stuff.
Right.
Like, how do you feel about that now? Because a lot of women now and a lot of people are saying now, like, especially a lot of businessmen that I've seen, they're like, no, my wife or lady, she's not going to pay for anything. I'm not going to, she's not going to worry about anything.
Yeah, I respect that.
That's what you think too as well?
Because that allows him to be in control. If he's not paying the bills, he can't tell his woman to do this, do that. You can't do this, you can't do that. You can't have that authority. Remember, you got to give up to go up. There's an eye for an eye for everything, right?
Correct.
You only reap what you sow. So if I'm not taking care of everything, there's going to be very hard for me to have some type of control, not necessarily control, but some type of leadership over this woman. This is why dudes do that. It's because if this is their woman who has their kids, I don't want no type of drama, no nothing coming from this woman that's questioning my leadership. So if I ain't paying all the bills, she can question my leadership if she's helping to pay.
That's true. I didn't think about it like that.
So most dudes is like, well, I don't want to do 50-50, da-da-da-da. That's cool. You ain't gonna have full control over this woman though. No problem.
I know people gonna lose it when they hear the word control.
Bro, yes, you need control.
Yeah.
You're a leader.
Yeah.
Control is not slavery. That's what people mix that word up. Control. No, I'm not whipping you with a whip. I'm not disciplining you. It's control over making sure this ship doesn't wreck. The captain, he leads the seamen, right? He's in control of the ship, right?
Yeah.
And he has the seaman's best interest at heart, right?
Correct.
Well, that's no different from a relationship. The man, he has the woman's best interest at heart. He has to have control of a relationship to make sure that this ship stays on course. And in order to do that, paying all the bills can give a man that authority. Bro, everything's an eye for an eye. It's like people have to understand, it's like you got to give up to go up. Something has to give in everything.
For sure. Wow. I want to take a different a U-turn and like pivot on a complete subject and everything. Obviously, you see there's a lot of stuff that's going on right now with like these hurricanes and all these different things happening. We got the election going on. That's a huge thing right now too as well. Then we got like this war that's going on overseas and all this stuff is happening. It just seems like a lot of this stuff that's happening is a distraction for either something that's happening right now or something that's about to happen. Right? I forgot what it was, but they were talking about something and they made that the focal point instead of like the war and everything that's going on overseas.
Right.
Do you think, or do you feel like a lot of times as men or entrepreneurs or in general, we let a lot of things distract us from what we should really be seeing? Like, let's just say, for example, you're telling me, I'll give you a real life example. You're saying Adam, make these calls, call these homeowners, right? And I'm like, okay, perfect. You're like, just call, build up the pipeline. But I get off the phone with my second person. I'm like, Alex, they want to sell the house right now, bro. Like, let's call them right now. Let's do the deal right now. And you're like, bro, just make the calls. Make the calls, build up the pipeline. And I'm getting distracted by this shiny thing of a person saying, hey, I want to sell it right now. But you have something bigger for me that I'm not seeing. Right, so I'm distracted by that like shiny object that's in front of me.
Right,
but I'm not realizing that that's really not what the really goal is. Does that make sense? What I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
Like, do you feel like we get distracted a lot by things that are going on in the world instead of what we should be focused on or what other people necessarily think?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's why most people are where they are is because of distractions versus just locking in and when a horse is racing, they put on blinders because if they don't put blinders on the horse, they'll be looking everywhere.
I didn't even know that, bro.
They put blinders on the horse.
What the I didn't even know that. I didn't know that.
So they only want their horse looking ahead. That's all they want their horse doing. So they'll put these blinders on the horse. So the horse is not looking at horse A and horse C over here. Just straight. We don't got blinders on us, bro. We see everything. It's distractions. You got the media. You got the election. You got this. You got that. This and that. It ain't going to change your life. You change your life. I don't know nothing about what's going on with the election right now. It's like, bro, if it's meant to be, it's up to me. I'm fighting to escape the matrix. I heard a number on how much money I need to have to be able to escape the matrix. Bro, if people understood how much money they would need to have to be able to escape, I'm telling you now, you will never take a day off, ever. It's in the millions. I'm like, bro, I got to get to it. I can never take a day off, ever. I ain't traveling. I ain't kicking it. I ain't doing none of that. Every day I got to fight.
Yeah. They talk about that number too as well as far as like people retiring. And how they don't think about that in the long term. I heard you talk about like conditional too as well, and people don't really make changes. And I heard something where somebody was talking about, they was like, what's the chance of a person next year making $100? He was like asking the room. It was like 1%, 5%, less than 5%,
100%.
And then he was like, now let's say if you don't make $1 million less next year, everybody that you know is gonna die. What's the chance of you making $1 million?
Bro,
and everybody was like 100%.
I'm making $1 million.
Yeah. But
I'm going for it.
Yeah, he said, what's the difference? And that just goes back to something that you've always talked about. It's conditional. Like somebody is not like experiencing, you said like enough pain or something to change. Talk about that part of what you were saying. And that's what you said? Something like that?
Yeah. I mean, it's very simple. It reminds me of the story of the dog on the nail. So the guy, he was
the what? Say it again.
The dog on the nail. So this guy, he's walking in the neighborhood, right? And as he's walking past his neighbor's house, he hears his dog howling. So he's just howling. He's just sitting right there on the porch. His owner is sitting in a rocking chair. And he's just looking at the dog, and he didn't think none of it. The next day, he's doing his morning walk, walks by the house again. The dog's howling. And he looks at the dog. He's just sitting there howling like something's going on with him. Doesn't think none of it. Continues about his day. The next morning, he walks by the house, and the dog's howling again. And he finally goes up to the fence. He says, Mike, bro, what's wrong with your dog? Why is he howling? Mike looks down. He says, oh, well, Andy, he's laying on a nail. He's like, why doesn't he get up from the nail? He's like, oh, well, it hurts bad enough for him to howl about it, but it doesn't hurt bad enough for him to get off the nail. See, people right now are hurting. Not bad enough for them to get off that. Stop howling about it, though. Not bad enough to be like, you know what? I'm starting a business this weekend. I'm taking every weekend, and I'm going to work it. and I'm gonna work it, it's not that bad. It's not that bad yet. They're not behind on the bills. They got a nice car in the driveway. They got food in the refrigerator. Yeah, they'll complain about this and that and about the economy and about Trump and this and that. But they're not going to take action to get up off their butt and do something. But that's most people, bro.